Lead the Way, a podcast for school leaders with author, speaker, and educator, Dr. Bill Ziegler.
I am energized today because our listeners are going to get a special treat from one of America's finest principals. Jessica Cabine is the 2017 Minnesota Distinguished Principal of the Year. Jessica, it's awesome to have you on the program today.
Oh, thank you so much for this invitation. Just an honor to be here.
Jessica is also the author of Hacking Early Learning. I'm really intrigued by that title, Jessica. Tell us exactly what it means.
Hacking Early Learning is really a compilation of 6 years of a recovering assistant middle school principal turned kindergarten principal. So 7 years ago, I walked into a kindergarten center after spending 6 years at the secondary level, thinking I knew everything I needed to know to start leading at the early years. And within about 2 to 3 hours of leading, I recognized I had no clue what I was doing. And so Hacking Early Learning really compiles research, journal articles, and my interactions with a lot of different practitioners across the United States in really gaining those 10 major tenets in leading well for our young learners. And so we really take a look at how we implement technology well, how you really involve families, the importance of social emotional learning with young learners, and really leading with our feet, being school leaders, being present in classrooms, teaching a lesson or two, being out at playground duty, just being engaged in the work and building that strong school culture, and how that helps to really move that mission and mantra forward of all means all in our schools.
Jessica, I love that all means all. And I'm especially interested in that lead by your feet. Tell us exactly, what do you mean by that?
Absolutely. So two of the things that I do at the kindergarten centers every morning from 8 to 8:30, I'm out at bus duty. And in Minnesota, I mean, that could be snow in May.
Oh, yeah.
Could be rain in January. I mean, you just never know what's going to happen in Minnesota weather. But parents really appreciate seeing me very vulnerable in my winter hats or soaked as I'm helping kids get off the bus. And the staff really sees the dedication and my focus on kids. I started doing that 3 years ago, and I never have a meeting scheduled. A teacher never asked me to step away from that job every morning. And then once the school day starts, I go to every classroom every day. And so I have a morning greeting. So between the 17 classrooms, I go in and I say, "Good morning, Mrs. Cabine." And it's just a great way for me to get to know every class. And it's 410 kids this year. So it's a great way to build those relationships and just being visible.
Jessica, that is such a powerful message for school leaders to get in the classrooms every day to connect with students and teachers. Perhaps that's one of the most important things that we can do. Jessica, in an earlier program, you talked about something called no excuses for school leaders. Tell us exactly, what do you mean by that?
Absolutely. And I shared a story. I share the story all the time. My younger son, Isaiah, and I started kindergarten together, as that was my first year of being a school principal. He had been in the country for 8 months before we had adopted him from Ethiopia. And quickly I learned that nice is not always necessary in the early years. And just because he was a dual language student, just because he didn't have preschool, and just because he was new to our family didn't mean that we needed to lessen the expectations for him. We actually needed to accelerate them. We needed to wrap our arms around him as parents and teachers and specialists to ensure that he was being equipped with the skills necessary to be successful. And that young man now is going to be a 6th grader in an honors math class and actually presenting with me at ISTE this year in technology and coding. And so it really shows that all means all and high expectations, no excuses, because we have to prepare all our learners cradle to career for possibilities that are beyond what we can imagine today.
Jessica, that is rocking awesome. I love that story about your son. It's just another example of how you promote student voice with your son. That is just amazing to think about. He's going to be presenting with you at ISTE. How awesome is that? Jessica, thanks so much for being on Lead the Way. I am so grateful for your leadership with school leaders nationwide. Continue to do the great work that you're doing.
Oh my gosh, thanks so much. And it's just a blessing to be here. So thanks again, Dr. Ziegler.
Thank you so much.
You've been listening to Dr. Bill Ziegler with Lead the Way. For more great resources and information about Bill's book, Future Focused Leaders, just visit chaselearning.org. That's chaselearning.org. You can also follow Bill on Twitter at Dr. Bill Ziegler. That's Dr. Bill, Ziegler. This has been a presentation of Lead the Way.